All right, so we've talked about how to find the volume of a cylinder or a prism. And we have that formula of volume equals the base area times the height of the figure. Well, when we look at the cone compared to the cylinder, okay, what's the difference? We have that circular base on both of them, but what happens to the cone versus the cylinder? You can see that it narrows and it comes to that point at the top. And you would see similar with the prism. If I held up a prism and a pyramid, they could have the same base, but that pyramid comes to that point at the top. And what that does to the volume is it's going to make the volume less because it's narrowing and coming to that single point. So the only adjustment that we need to make in our volume when we're finding a pyramid or a cone is what we found is that it's 1/3 of the base times the height. So with the cylinder and the prism, we were just doing the base area times the height. We're now going to do the same thing, but we're going to take 1/3 of it when we're finding the volume of the cone or the pyramid. Okay, so as before, if I want to find the area of this pyramid, okay, I'm going to use the formula the volume equals 1/3 times the base area times the height. And again, we're using that capital B because we want to find the base area. And it's going to change depending on the pyramid, the type of pyramid that we're using, or if we're finding the cone. So in this particular pyramid, we have a pentagon as my base. So how do we find the area of a pentagon? Okay, that's that formula of 1/2 times S times A times N. 1/2 san is what we use to find the area of that pentagon. So we're going to say that the side length, so I'm going to have 1/2, the side is 16, the apothem is this broken line 11, and it's a pentagon, so it has 5 sides. Okay, I can take half of 16 and get 8. 8 times 11 is 88, and 88 times 5 is 440. Okay, so that's the base area. So volume is going to be equal to 1/3 times 440 times, and then the height of the pyramid. How tall is it from the bottom straight up to the top? Well, it's 24 centimeters. Okay, so you're going to take 1/3 times 440 times 24. Now, if I took 1/3 of 440, that is not going to go in evenly, but I could take 1/3 of 24. 1/3 of 24 is 8, and 8 times 440 is going to be equal to this 3,520. And we're finding volume, so it's a centimeters cubed. Okay, and some of you struggled a little bit with the fractions in chapter 10. Okay, this, very similar. We could put 440 over 1 times 24 over 1. And again, you're multiplying on the top. So we're going to multiply 440 times 24, and then you would be dividing by what's in the denominator. So you could take 440 times 24, divide your answer by 3, and you'd end up with that 3520 also. Okay, that's one way to do that. All right, let's look at, that's the only example they're going to give us. Okay, so if you're going to find the volume of a cone, the only thing that's going to change is when you calculate your base area. If it's a cone, it's going to be circular. So you're going to use pi times radius squared. Okay, and then you'd be taking it times 1/3 times that pi times radius squared, and then times whatever the height of your cone is. So we're going to use this very similar formula. It's just base area times height, like we were using for the prism and the cylinder, but now if it's a cone or a pyramid, we only use 1/3 of it. Okay, that's the only difference. Okay, so go ahead and give that worksheet a shot.